If you keep putting off a decision, you're making a decision and it's probably the wrong one. This is the Matt J. Hannum Show, where I have candid conversations with inspiring people and turn topics inside out to help you grow your business and create more freedom in life. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the show. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be running through an inside out episode to give you some inside out insights of the paradox of choice and decision paralysis. Yuck. What a word. I don't like, what a phrase, not what a word, but I don't like those words. It's something I definitely do, and I think we probably all do it at different points in time, but yeah, we have all these choices. We live in such a wonderful world. I think that's a song, right? But we have so much opportunity in front of us at all times in the places that we live. If you're listening to this, it's probably in the place that you live. And one of the challenges we have is like, what do we do? What do we do about it? How do we pick what to do? What makes sense? If it's our full-time job and business, fantastic. If it's a side hustle we're trying to work on, how do we justify taking that time away from our family and spending time on, the projects that we want to get, to take us forward? What do we want to do? And that's, it's a critical thing, right? Because we can spend so much time, and we always hear this like, oh, there's 24 hours in a day. And then you see some people that just do so much over the period of, it's not usually one day, right? You see them over a month or 6 months or a year or 5 years, and you're like, man, how did they build that business? And they're buying those properties, or they're doing this thing, or they're publishing all these books. What am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm working hard, it's really common to sort of like look at other people and see that. And it's like, well, they've got the same time. Let's just assume they've got the same resources. Why are they doing more? And I honestly believe that the answer to this is their decision making. And it's just that we have this issue. It's a mental state that we can get stuck in, but too many choices can be just as bad as too few. And I think that's one of the challenges that we really do have in a modern society, is that we have so much choice, so much capacity. There's so much resource around that we're able to be resourceful. And if we have these types of things at our fingertips, it's like, what do we do? We get stuck in this like fear of making the wrong choice. Should I start this business? Should I hire this person? Should I bring this person on as a client? Should I pay for this marketing company? But we delay making choices so often. I mean, just think of examples of like clients. Some clients make a rapid decision, sign off and go for it. And others will deliberate. Or that guy, that girl, that person who has been talking about leaving their job and starting a business, or been talking about starting content. Yes, guilty as charged. I know I come out on and off with content, and I'm absolutely talking to myself in this conversation too. But, we're scared of making the wrong choice, so we delay making the choice. And delaying is just huge problem. I mean, in business and life, indecision is often the worst thing that we can do, or it is far worse than making the wrong decision. This is where this decision paralysis comes from, right? So we're stuck in not doing. And if we keep putting off a decision, you're making a decision, and it's probably the wrong one. I want that to sink in. It's probably the wrong one. And that's crazy, because what it's saying is you're not making a decision between one thing and number two. There's 3 decisions at your fingertips right now. And that is, do I do this thing Or do I do that thing? And maybe that is, do I start a podcast? Do I not start a podcast? But by choosing the third option to do nothing and just think about it, we just cooked. we add all this mental cognition, we add this mental load to our brain, and we get stuck in this cycle of fear of missing out versus fear of making the wrong call. We're so worried we don't want to miss out. We don't want to say no. What if it's the wrong thing to say no to? But also, we just don't want to make the wrong call. What would people say? How would we go about it? Do we really, do we want to get stuck here? We get overwhelmed by too many good options because they're both good options. Saying no is equally a good option for many things. You might choose to come back full circle and say yes in a month, but you've said no. You've cut that sort of load out of your thinking and you move on, right? Either way, the result is the same. No decision is no progress. So, if you're so afraid of choosing the wrong thing, you also end up in the same place. No decision, no progress. Perfectionism is actually killing all momentum because you're too worried about it. I feel like I do this all the time. Too worried about things like what do I need to make a decision on, right? And I don't like to call myself a perfectionist, but I feel like it's just so inbuilt at times to overthink. But what I have learned is that successful people decide fast. So Martine Rothblatt, PhD, Martine says successful entrepreneurs say no to most things. The most successful entrepreneurs say no to everything. Everything that's not exactly what they want to do. They say no to almost everything except, and that's why they look laser focused, and that's why they're achieving these outcomes, because they're saying no to the other things and keeping their time and focus for the things that they deem important to achieve the things that they want to achieve. It's been said that your ability to say no defines your ability to move forward. That's defining your progress. That's defining you moving towards any goals and everything that you want in your business and your life. So what can you do about it? What do I do about it? I feel like I get stuck in this loop all the time. I think it's pretty normal, right? We consume content, we're doing things, we're running a business. And I think when you run a business or a podcast, or you're thinking about running a business or a podcast or doing something, and even just within any work that you're doing, we get we easily start to overthink whether we're making the right decisions or are we not. And there's just so much information overload that, let's say 20 or 30 or 50 years or even especially 100, it just wouldn't be available. We wouldn't know what was going on. We wouldn't know what was out there, and we would just keep methodically taking action, because that's really the key and the underlying thing behind all of it. But what I find that I'm doing lately, and I picked this up somewhere, I'm not really sure exactly where, someone had a list of questions, but one of the things that I've been journaling on for the last couple of months is just really, really clear questions. What decision do I need to make right now? And what am I putting off making a decision on? It sounds crazy, but you write that down, immediately something comes to mind. Oh, I'm thinking about, do I hire that person? Do I do this thing? Should I record my podcast episode? What should I do? How should I go about it? Should I do a video? Should I do this? Like, all these things go through our brain all the time, right? But what really, really, really jumps out from this is that writing it down, and this is why I love journaling and have done for a long time, but writing it down forces clarity. If I can't answer it quickly, I'm overthinking it, and that's the key. Writing it down, the pen intuitively moves along the paper, and it just, your answer is right there. Then it comes down to whether you're willing to make action happen. And that's another topic to discuss, but you've got to take action off the back of it. But what I really have noticed about people that get things done is they have laser focus and they make better decisions providing the laser focus. The reason why they can do that is because they're strong on their vision. If you're looking at trying to make a decision on a task and you can't answer whether this task is, or an opportunity or whatever it is going to bring you closer to your goals, how are you ever going to decide? make it simple. Does this move me towards or away from my vision? If I can't answer whether that is, then I need to do some work on my vision. You need to limit your options because, and this is again a great place where pen and paper comes to work, because if there's maybe 10 different things you could do, write them down and very quickly write down 8 or 10 or 4. You probably think there's 10 and there's probably 4 or 5. Then cross off 2 or 3 and realize there's really only 1 or 2 options in front of you. Then look at it from there, journal on that. But if you can limit your options, then you're closer to making a decision. The other thing that's really cool is setting a deadline. Deadlines really help. I'll sleep on this. I will make a decision tomorrow morning. I'll send you a message. I'll, use someone else as an accountability buddy. Make a decision and trust yourself, especially in the journaling front, because intuition will help you if you put pen to paper and start to write a sentence. This is the decision I need to make. And I think, fill in the blank, and you'll be amazed at the pen doing its work on the paper for you. And you knew most likely that was the thing you had to do at the end of it, but you just didn't really want to. And it's as simple as that. So there's just crazy situation, and I feel like we get stuck in this busyness loop. And I'm so guilty of this. And it's so obvious in reflection is that so much time just gets burned and energy gets burned on cognitive load for things that we just haven't made decisions on. And be careful, because it's easy to go, I'll just make some decisions. No, it's probably a whole series of decisions that you haven't made. So just methodically start working your way through them and moving to a point where you can start to feel better. As you take more action, as you do more doing, you'll be amazed at how much more clear and easier it is to stay laser focused. But if you can't answer that decision, or you can't answer whether it is taking you closer to your goals, you definitely need to rework those goals, because you're going to find it even harder to get out of the mud and make these decisions for yourself. Not every decision is going to be perfect, but inaction completely guarantees failure. You have to take the leap and adjust as you go. Successful people always do this, because I've heard it said before that essentially there's people that do things. Those people that do things probably don't know what they're doing, and neither do the people that don't. I've butchered this. This is terrible. But basically, no one knows what they're doing. Everyone feels like an imposter in so many places, and some people just do it anyway. Thanks for listening to the show, guys. If you want to get in touch with me, you can check me out on Matt J. Hannam on Instagram or YouTube or otherwise, or anywhere. I'm sure you can figure it out. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.